Hello, I am François-Xavier Bellamy, member of the European Parliament of the French delegation EPP, and together with my colleague David Lega from the Swedish delegation of the EPP group, we are honored to welcome today members of families of hostages being kept today by Hamas after the terrible attack of the 7th of October. The point of this meeting in the center of the European Parliament in Strasbourg is to raise awareness about the fact that the current emergency is to save lives of hostages, innocent civilians who are now being kept in the custody of a terrorist organization. And I want to thank the families who are here, thanks to ACLG, to ECLG, and to thank my colleague David for sharing this invitation together with me. David, we are, since the beginning of this terrible ordeal, standing with the families of the hostages, with the families of the victims of the 7th of October, and today we want to give the floor together with you to these families so that they can share what they are experiencing right now, and so that they can, in this place of democracy in Europe, say the names of the ones who are being kept, say the lives who are now in danger. Thanks again, David, for sharing this moment.
And thank you for inviting me, and thank you so much for being here today. I think it's crucial that many of our colleagues and people in Europe understand the horrible situation that you, your families, the hostages, and everyone connected to Israel right now is living in since October 7. And we cannot speak for you, but what we can do as members of European Parliament is to try to be your megaphone, your microphone, to amplify your words, to make sure that this House and also Europe hears your stories and understand what is really happening. So again, thank you for being here. There are no other words than thank you.
Thank you.
We give you the floor now because this is the most important. Maybe, Yamit, do you want to start and tell us about your situation?
Okay, so my name is Yamit Ashkenazi. I'm from kibbutz Kfar Aza. I was at the kibbutz on October 7th, and I survived the massacre with my 2 little kids. My parents also survived the massacre, but unfortunately my younger sister, Doron, was 30 years old, a veterinary and nurse. She didn't Gali. She's hostage by Hamas ends for over than 2 months. On October 7th, she was by herself in her home. She spoke with us, say how much she's afraid, that she heard the terrorist going outside. She spoke with her mother about 10 in the morning. She said that she heard the terrorist come in, the phone call cut off in the middle. And she sent her friend a message that she's saying, they caught me, they caught me, they caught me. And you can hear Arabic shout in the background. But this is the only thing I have from her. And before October 7th, my sister is my best friend, the best aunt I can ask for my children. She's the thing that collects all her friends together and connect them. And she's my parents' little baby. And this beautiful girl is hostage for 66 days. I don't know what the Hamas can do to her. We hear the evidence. We hear the testimony for the hostages who do release, but I don't even want to imagine what my sister condition right now as a young, beautiful lady in the end of this barbarian terrorist organization. And that's it.
Liran.
My name is Liran Berman. I am the eldest out of 4 brothers. And my 2 little brothers, the twins, Gali and Ziv Berman, have been kidnapped into Gaza on October 7th. They are 26, which is the most beautiful age there can be. No obligation other than themselves. They work as light technicians. They work together. They are each other's best friends. Since they were 0, they have this special twins connection. They travel around the world. They go to see football games. They enjoy life. They are the best uncles my little kids could have wished for. And for 10 days, we mourned them because they were considered missing, and we knew that the worst fighting was happening in their neighborhood. 10 days after, an official officer came to us and told us that they are kidnapped. Sadly, weirdly, surreal, it was the better option out of the 2, that my brother are kidnapped. At least we have hope that they are alive. We don't know. We don't know if they are alive, but we have hope. At least we don't have to bury my 2 little brothers. Thank you for the opportunity to speak for them, to put faces behind the posters and families behind the posters. They are not just numbers or posters on the streets. They are civilians, people. They are my mother's little kids, and we miss them very much. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Yonatan Shamriz. I live in Kfar Aza for all my life. I'm 33 years old. On the 7th of October, I was with my pregnant wife and my 2-year-old daughter in the safe room for 22 hours, most of the time without any food or water. My brother Alon, 26-year-old, been kidnapped by Hamas. He managed to send me a message that the terror is going inside his apartment and he's sitting quietly in the safe room. I wrote him back that I love him and he's strong. He sent me back an heart emoji, and that was the last time that anyone spoke with my brother. And as Liran said, for almost 2 weeks, we grieve, we mourn. We thought, that there is no way that we survive this, because what Hamas did in this, in that day, was so like the atrocities and what you hear and what you saw. They thought nobody that is still in contact, is still like alive, and only after almost 2 weeks, the IDF told us that he's kidnapped by Hamas, and now we're doing everything that we can to release him and to pressure the key players that could pressure Hamas to release him, because he's a civilian that kidnapped from his bed, from his house, during a Jewish holiday, without him doing anything to anyone. And Alon is very kind. He's a computer scientist student. He worked with us, our 3 brothers, in our family business that we are built in our 2 hands. We do everything together, and I miss him a lot. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ido Lulu-Shamriz. I'm the younger brother of Yonatan. And our brother Alon is in the captivity, in the hands of Hamas for 67 days now. 67 long days of darkness, without seeing the sunlight, in poor conditions, without any food or water, without any visit of the UN members or the Red Cross. We are really, really worried about his conditions. all the hostages' conditions. On the 7th of October, I was part of the security team of the kibbutz. We are just civilians. We are not soldiers. We are volunteered to defend the kibbutz, to be the first line until the army forces will come. I was witness to horrific images and horrific sights. 7 members of our squad were killed next to me. I saw my neighbors murdered besides their twins, 10 months old beds. And I saw sights that I could never imagine that I will see. I fought against terrorists on lawns that I played as a kid, near the kindergarten, the playground, where I took my 2 daughters. Nobody should ever experience what I've been through. Nobody should experience what we all been through. And the time is very crucial for our loved ones, because we know that our loved ones held by monsters who abused innocents, who raped women, beheaded babies, burned people alive, did such brutal things. And we need to act now, because the time for statements is over. We need to act now as soon as possible to release all the hostages. And like Yonatan said, I miss my brother a lot. Every morning I feel my brother. When you wake up, you ask yourself if my brother slept well. When you just drink water, you ask yourself if your brother getting any water. You are full of blame and shame. And I miss him a lot. Thank you for having us. Thank you for the opportunity to share our stories, our loved ones' stories.
Thank you for being here. That's so important that your voice can be heard, and thank you for having the strength of sharing this testimony after this terrible attack you yourself survived. I want to start with this very simple question. Since October the 7th, did you have any news indirectly of your loved ones in custody? We know that some hostages could be released. Was it the occasion to know more about the situation of the people you're expecting the freedom today?
So we don't have any news beside what we've been told after 2 weeks. Furthermore, we don't see the news from the 7th of October. We don't see any video from since then. And we just wait for the official notice from the IDF, because if you let misinformation get through you, it could be very shocking and very it could harm your progress and your aim, and distract you from your main goal. So I can speak, I think, for all of us. Yeah. We are waiting for official things, and we don't investigate who's been released, because we don't want to trigger them, or we don't. So we are very careful. We are waiting for the information to come to us, and not the other way.
Yes, since the beginning, we all have an official officer that follow the family, and we are waiting for them. They have the official intelligence. They know everything that has been approved, and they tell us what we need to know. Sadly, they only told us that they are kidnapped. No foreign authority entered and visited the hostages, so we can only know what from the released one, and we don't know anything from them. And we can only know from the Red Cross, and the Red Cross hasn't entered, so no new information. We don't know if our brothers are injured. I don't know if my 2 brothers are together. I don't know anything. It's been more than 2 months, and the darkness is so strong.
Yeah, the unknown is the worst here. Yeah. We don't know anything.
I finish your.
No, already finished.
I think, like my friend here, that the unknown is the most difficult thing. But I also, the only thing I know is that my sister is hostage and that she needs a chronic medication. 2 weeks after the attack, we spoke with the Red Cross delegation for Israel. We say them all the information, but they didn't. They say that the Hamas didn't let them the opportunity to visit our hostages. But last week, the president of the Red Cross visit Gaza civilians, talk about it for 2 minutes, and don't say anything about our hostages, maybe one little sentence. It's a humanitarian national organization, and I think that humanitarian is need to go for the both sides. And I think that the European Parliament should say to the Red Cross that the Red Cross can say, if you don't let us visit the Israeli hostages, so we won't visit Gaza citizens also. It has to go together, because my sister, for 67 days, don't get a chronic medication. Maybe she did get, but I don't know, because the Red Cross don't visit her. They invite us to a formal meeting, and they couldn't say anything new. They even couldn't say if she get or don't get her medication, but they have the courage to say, my mother, that a little baby for 2 months, captive by those monsters of Hamas, that we need to think also about the Gaza Strip civilians. So for me, the Red Cross is like, I don't think if it exists for me. And I think that the European Parliament should put a lot of pressure on this organization.
For me, I think that we see a difference now. It's harder for us to talk about the hostages after some have been released.
Yes.
That people are starting to think that that part is over, that they don't see the ones that are still in hostage. Do you experience the same? And also, if I could ask one thing more, my daughter is 3. She can still talk about when she was scared 6 months ago for something that happened when a carpenter scared her by mistake or something at home. How are your children coping with everything with this? How can you help them to deal with what happened and also for the future?
So about your first question, it does hard to... We need to keep it in the knowledge of the world, that although the young women and the young children and not all the young women, but the children and their mother and the elderly women who do released, we're thankful for every hostages who come back, but we kind of lost of our power together, because there are less hostages to release, and because people tend to think that if my sister 30, her brother is 26, their brother is 26, they are grown enough to cope with this situation, with their condition in the Hamas tunnel.
Yeah.
And we need to remember to say it every time. And about your question about the little kids, it took 2 weeks for my kids to ask about their auntie. And we say to them that the Hamas took her to Gaza Strip, that we know she's alive, then we're gonna do anything to bring her back. I mean, how you can explain to a 6 years old and a 3 years old what kidnap mean? But she go very proud, my young daughter. She look for a Doron photo everywhere she go. She was in McDonald's with my husband, and the hostages photo that in the TV, and she waiting for Doron's photo, and she was so excited to see her because she's on the TV, and it's art. It's art for the children also.
So about your first question, I think those monsters that dictate who is going to be released know exactly what they're doing. And they know exactly that if they will release the children and the elderly and their children's mothers, then it will be hard for us to come to present, grown-ups, mature people, like 20, 26, males. Most of them are males, and of course, after like more than 100 hostages, most of them children and elderly, have been released. We are lost our power. We are less families. We are, we can do less. The pressure, the international pressure on Hamas and and Qatar is now because there are still few children inside and few women. But we all need to remember, there is only one category. They are all civilians. They are all been kidnapped from their beds during a Jewish holiday without doing anything, just waking up to those monsters that came and shot everyone and burned everyone and beheaded everyone. And they are the lucky ones. Yeah, they are the lucky ones that have been kidnapped. Most of the relatives are not been kidnapped. And we need to remember this. There's the only one category in this situation. They are all civilians. They all need to be released without any conditions, without any categories, without anything. About your other question. Luckily, my daughter is 2-year-old. And luckily, the terrorists didn't try to get inside my house. They're only a few houses away from me. And they stayed there. We don't know why. And I've managed to, to stay calm and make the environment inside the safe room calm as I can. And I think this is, the crucial thing in her way to deal with this. So now she's like, okay, she's with her friends. We're still living in a hotel in the center of Israel, like we are refugees. We don't have a home. We don't have nothing. I came out from the safe room with my boxers and T-shirt. No wallet, no passport, no clothes, no nothing. Yeah. But luckily, the environment inside the safe room was okay. Terrorists didn't go to our home. And when I see her smile, then, everything fades.
Thank you for also this message of hope, because what you are telling us is that children are the core strengths on which we can hope for the future. But maybe to come back to today's situation, as David said, it's now more difficult to speak about the situation of hostage families. And we also see, this is a painful question to ask, but we also see now mounting the denial in Western countries, in European countries, about what happened on the 7th of October. We already have people denying the fact that this was a terrorist attack. And what we are now seeing is people in European capitals tearing posters with the images of hostages on it. Under the pretext that the situation in the Gaza Strip is terrible, there is a will to destroy the very memory of the people who are now being kept in custody. What kind of answer would you give to these people who are now trying to make invisible the situation of your loved ones and trying to deny the fact that what is now currently continuing to happen is, of course, a terrorist situation under which innocent civilian lives are being threatened and retained?
In 2 words, to those people, educate yourself. Because those comments, those chants, the ripping of the posters, those are uneducated people who got indoctrinated into hating Israel without a reason. 90% of them, I'm sure, have never visited the country. And all they know is from the media and social media, which is the worst kind of way to learn something. So I'm telling them, educate yourself. Come and visit Israel. Learn about the history. Open a textbook, not TikTok video, a textbook, and read about the history. This region is complicated. We are not telling that everything is paradise and flowers and peace, but visit Israel, educate yourself, speak to first person who've been there on October 7. And then, if you are still against us, then there is no hope for you. You will hate Jews, you are anti-Semitic. But for those who are just uneducated, please do a research, educate yourself, and not from TikTok.
I want to add. In this region, we all believe in coexistence.
Yeah.
We all believe in peace, that we can live together. For many years, in our family business, 4 workers from Gaza were supposed to start working with us on the 8th of October. So all of us believed in coexistence. And on the 7th of October, it's not only Hamas entered civilians, communities, and committed massacre. It's Gazan people, the uninvolved, the normal one, that were entered in mass. And while we are still in the safe room on the 8th of October, you can see protest, pro-Palestinian protest, on the 8th of October, while we're still in our safe room and our friends have been slaughtered. So it's all a propaganda, and it's all planned. But all those that rip posters and go to protest against Israel need to remember one thing. Hamas kidnapped citizens from 40 different countries, from, I think, more than 5 different religions. He didn't care if you're Jewish, if you're Israeli. It's not a Jewish problem, it's not an Israeli problem. If Europe and USA didn't realize it yet, you need to wake up. You are next. They don't care. As long as you're on the other side of the border, you need to die. You need to be conquered. You need to obey the Sharia laws. And you need to understand this.
It's in their charter. It's in their charter.
In Hamas manifest, there is a line, the destroyed of Israel and the Jewish state. Like, this is in their manifest. They wrote it like. So the one that ripped the posters, the protest against Israel, need to open their eyes, need to ask questions, deep questions.
I have very much faith in the IDF, that they do all that they can to bring the hostages home. And I think I can speak for both of us when I promise that we will not release our pressure on our colleagues, on the global community, to make sure that Israel will continue to have the support needed to bring all the hostages home. We will continue every day to push the tech companies to remove anti-Semitic hate on social media. We cannot stop anything of this. I think what you said last is extremely important. we need to continue to make our colleagues understand that this is not a local issue. It is a global issue. It's about the safety for all of us, not only for Jews, but for all of us.
Also for peaceful Muslims and Christians, yeah?
For everyone.
Yeah.
And I can guarantee you that we won't stop until all hostages are home from our side.
Thank you.
Also. And I'm sure that before next Hanukkah, everything will be much, much better. I am sure that your families will be home and that you can celebrate peacefully with them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And maybe to add it in one word, I share what David said. The point you made is crucial. Also in the sense that the rise of hatred against Jewish people, even inside our countries, is not a Jewish problem. It's not a problem for the Jews. It's a problem for our countries.
Yeah.
And this parliament, the place in which we sit right now, was built after the experience of Shoah, which is, of course, the huge, terrible shame that is now on the shoulders of Europe as a whole. This should not be only a shame. This should be, and this was a decision of the founding fathers of the European Union, this should be the foundation of a new commitment. Seeing the hatred against Jewish people in our countries rising again, and the power of denial, of negation of what happened, should be a wake-up call for all of us. In this parliament, we experienced a few months ago the terrible situation of Qatargate. Of course, the judicial investigation has to come to an end, but what we see is also that our institutions are now under attack by people who want to spread an ideology of Islamism, which is against Jewish people, but also, of course, against Christians, against peaceful Muslim people willing to integrate in Europe. And the fact is that we have to take your strengths as the occasion of this new commitment for all of us to continue to fight. This is not only a cause in which we are involved by accident. It's a crucial and essential cause for the European Union. And so I want to share with David the fact that we will continue to stand with you, of course, to stand with Gali, with Ziv, with Alon, with Doron, and that we will never surrender until we know that they are safe and that you could meet them again.
We appreciate it.
I just want to thank you and all the members from the EU that met us during our delegation. We really appreciate your effort. I'm asking today, we know you are doing, but please do more. Our loved ones are there for more than 90,000 minutes. Think about loved ones for 1 minute, just 1 minute, and ask yourself what you did today to release them. It's really important for us. The time is very crucial. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much again, and of course, we continue the fight and we stand with you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.